What is up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of Backlash Boys. Basically, where we're here to talk about anything fishing and what's going on in the crazy world of fishing. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
What is up, everybody? Just to get this started, will y'all type in the chat what's up to make sure y'all can hear us and everything is going good in the chat? What's up, Daryl?
Big D.
Daryl's Barrels, big sponsor of mine. Can everybody hear us? Yes. Okay. So everything is good. All right. Let's get this thing started. Okay, we're gonna get this thing started. We're gonna kind of introduce ourselves, talk about who we are, what this podcast is all about, what divisions we fish, and vice versa, stuff like that. I'll chart this off. Also, if there's anything goes wrong, this is our first ones. Anything positive helps. So let's get this thing started. So my name is Gavin Cloutier. I am currently fishing the BFLs of the Music and City Division, the Music Division and the Volunteer Division. Right now in the Music Division, I'm sitting in 7th, leading up to try to win the AOY and the Music City. Volunteer, I got some work to do. I'm sitting in 52nd. Got to get to 45 to get to the regional. I currently own my own guiding business. Also do Panoptics lessons, graph lessons, etc. But that's a little bit about me. The more you listen and watch our podcast, you kind of get to see who we really are. But I'm a guy that loves to fish and love to talk about fishing. That's kind of why we did this podcast. So Dusty, let's talk about a little bit who you are.
Yeah, man. I'm Dustin Breedlove. I fish the volunteer division for the BFL's second year. I'm sitting all right in points right now, right on the cut line, going into Cherokee, have a good tournament. I'll make regional for the second year straight. Hopefully that happens. Just got to get there to get it. So, but Cal?
BFL does not stand for Big Freaking Ladies. I wish it did, but it stands for Bass Fishing League. I'm pretty sure, right?
I like Daryl's better.
Sure. Hey,
by the way, we are missing one person tonight, and that is Robbie Linkus, but he is currently watching his niece getting baptized, so hopefully he'll be joining us later.
But are we really missing him?
I mean, Robbie's special now. Robbie's special now.
Yeah, he's special's right.
Anyways, I'm Cal Rogers. My nickname is Cal MF and Rogers, just basically because I go out there and I do whatever it takes. I just got to get out there and I have fun with it. You know what I mean? But anyways, I fish the Music City division and volunteer division with Gavin. As a co-angler this year, I have fished one as a boater, but in the Music City division, I was sitting very well in points as a co-angler, but decided since I'm doing so well in the volunteer division as well this year, I'm sitting in 5th in points right now, looking at a chance to win the AOY. So I'm really hoping that this last tournament goes well for me there. So that's me.
So there's a little bit about us. But like I said, later on in this podcast, and the more we do these podcasts, you'll get to see the real us because we're all nervous and we all don't know what the heck we're doing. Especially once you get out Dusty and Cal and Robbie out of their shells. Y'all enjoy us.
Mine's a big shell.
Somebody wants to talk about your little nickname, Dusty.
I mean, he's got jokes, he keep talking that mess. He's going to be fishing from the bank, Steve Moore.
I'm still curious. What is your nickname?
Man, I got so many. They're called aliases at this point.
What's that one you just told us about?
Oh, yeah, Boo Boo at work.
Boo Boo.
The wife. I mean, she's got some, but they're not appropriate for a podcast.
I see that.
Yeah.
All right. So what we got coming up? We got
y'all got Old Hickory, right?
Yeah, me and Cal got Old Hickory coming up. That is for the Music City division. I don't like that lake at all.
I like the fishing. I like tougher tournaments. It just makes you really grind harder, but I don't like running.
Yeah. Honey Boo Boo.
Honey Boo Boo.
Is that your nickname, Honey Boo Boo?
Hey, he better be glad he's good at fixing a boat.
Married life is wonderful. Married life is wonderful. But yeah, Old Hickory is it's a challenge. It's pretty important for me this year because I am only like 30 points out of AOY. So I need to make it to the second day. Another thing that's very stressful is my dad's wedding is the same exact dang day. So I got to fish a tournament, drive all the way up to Kentucky, and then be in a wedding, and then drive all the way back down to Nashville, and hopefully fish the next day.
I think you should be at weigh-in.
I think they should just do the wedding at the weigh-in.
I mean, that only makes
sense.
Just
do it on the lake.
Fishing. It's easier.
I'm sure Alan is a preacher, honestly.
Dude,
sure
imagine Alan going off at the wedding.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then we can bring Robbie up with his dear Lord.
Yeah.
But it's pretty important for Kyle too, because this will be his second tournament as a boater.
Yeah. It didn't go so well last time.
Hey, but you didn't zero your first time as a boater in the tournament, though.
So is it just a bad tournament or what?
So
I'll tell you how mine went. So we were at Old Hickory, right? And practice was awesome. I had a great practice. I'm calling Gavin. I'm like, look, I I'm on some good fish right now. I'm not saying I'm on the winning fish, but I think I got some good fish to make some money off this tournament. And, you know, last day of practice comes and I get on pad and I start going that way. The boat just stops.
Oh man.
All right, what's going on? What's going on? So I crank that sucker back up and I keep going. It didn't work out too hot. So I call Gavin, like, hey, you might have to pull me back in. Like, I don't know if I can get back to the ramp. He's like, what's going on? Like, the boat won't work. So long story short, I didn't get to fish the last day of practice, and all those fish in that area disappeared.
So Old Hickory. So what kind of to backtrack a little bit? We've already fished Old Hickory once this year, and that's kind of why I was leading AOY going into Old Hickory, and I failed because one thing about Old Hickory is it's a very sketchy lake to run, and then we fished it in the middle of the summer, so there was a bunch of boat traffic. It also didn't help that when we took off that morning, there was a barge that decided to want to go right by us about 5 minutes before we blasted off.
Yeah, I followed that thing all the way down.
So that was a struggle. But it's gonna be a little bit different time of the year. Hopefully, boat traffic is gonna go away a little bit. So that's a plus. But the next one coming up, which is only 2 weekends after the Old Hickory.
Yep.
Yeah.
September 30th, October 1st. 2 days.
Yeah,
at
we
Cherokee.
got Cherokee,
Truly
which
in
is
that
a
one?
super time. So that is Robbie's home lake. So once he gets on here, he can talk about Cherokee for a little bit.
Couldn't tell
Cherokee,
yesterday, could you?
yeah, not yesterday. We sucked it up there yesterday. Don't want to talk about that. Don't want to talk about it.
I mean, we'll throw out 0 comments for a 0.
Oh, hey, we did
I said
0.
it
We
had
just
to be.
didn't weigh in.
It's all right.
We did 0. We just didn't weigh in.
Y'all out there scoping
Hey, I
like
didn't see
crap.
it. There's no proof of this fish.
That is true. I didn't even take a picture of it.
Hey, me and Cal weighed in the same amount of fish, and we didn't even make the tournament.
So we got
Hey, so
Cherokee.
So, fellas, when y'all going to the tournament, I know for me, there's a certain point that I flip the switch, that it's tournament time. Like for me, it's the national anthem. Being a vet and everything, love America, obviously. Hear that? I know it's time to go. What about y'all?
So it's like back in high school, right before game day. Like, when do you stop messing around? When you start doing your stuff? I'm like, I think I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say as soon as I get in the truck, head to the ramp.
Cal?
Because when me and Cal fished college, that morning to the ramp was very silent and very, very focusy. I guess I use that time to kind of just think. I kind of want to try to plan out my day. I want to try, but when I get the nerves of the tournament, is when they start calling boat numbers.
I got you. Cal, I don't know about you, but I know, like, being a co-angler, my thought on the way to the daggone tournament is, am I going to get along with this dude? Am I going to fight halfway through it? Am I going to tell him to drop me off at the bank? I've had enough, or is he going to be a good dude? So I ain't really flipped that switch yet. I'm just focusing on, trying to find this dude for one, back his crap into the lake, and then, jump in his boat and start a conversation for a minute.
Yeah, I would say as a co-angler, when I flip that switch, I would honestly say with Gavin, just going back to those college days where the ride to the ramp is like, all right, now it's time. We got to do this. Like, there's no more messing around. But as a co-angler, I kind of think differently about it. It's like, am I like you said, am I going to get along with this guy?
Yeah.
Is he going to backboat me all day? How am I going to catch fish if he's doing that? That's a story for another day, but maybe tell it.
And we talk about it all the time, You spend the whole night before nervous wreck because the dude's told you, we going to go junk fishing. All right, well, I got 5 rods and I ain't got an idea where.
But
it's just, I'd say when I get in the truck to go to the ramp.
So talking to y'all about co-angling a little bit, how nervous are you about your person? Because I'll say as a boater, I'm pretty nervous as well because a co-angler can get in my head. So if I got somebody that's trying to be a know-it-all or trying to tell me what to do, or that's just negative, or that just doesn't want to be there. It can mess with my head.
Mhm.
How's that affect y'all as a co-angler?
Cal.
Like, are you asking like how does
So
the
like,
art?
so like, what's nervous about your boater? Like, what
Okay.
are some concerns, or what do you like? You know, like that you're nervous about.
Well, number one, just getting along with the guy. I don't want to make him mad to where he does put me in a situation where I can't fish properly. And like on Old Hickory, not Old Hickory, where were we? Last tournament.
Norris. No. Watts Bar.
No, South Holst. Watts Bar.
Watts Bar.
At Watts Bar, my guy was the same age as I was, or I am, and it was like you could tell right off the bat he was one of those like, oh, I know everything. I know. Even as co-angler, you don't want to hear that because then you're like, all right. But I understand like we don't have a say on where we go, what we do, or anything like that. But one thing I will say is if you're struggling as a boater and you don't even ask like, hey, what you practiced all week? I didn't practice at all this week. What can we do? You think? And he didn't ask me that question until about 30 minutes before weigh-ins. I was like, if you go to that bluff bar over there with all those laydowns, we'll catch them.
See, I've never run into that yet. I've never had somebody that's from that lake.
Right.
So like I've never had that opportunity to come up with like, hey, do you know a spot we can go catch some fish?
Right.
Because the only lake that I guess you would say would be my home lake out of all these would be South Holston. So like when we go to Norris, Cherokee, and all that kind of stuff, I've never had anybody that's their home lake. But I think as a boater, if I'm struggling, I'm going to take as much help as I can.
Right. And like
You know?
my boater, we sat out there on Watts Bar. Yeah, it was one deep, but he wasn't on the fish. He wasn't catching fish out deep. We sat out there all day and we didn't catch anything.
I wouldn't say if it was one out deep, but it was one on the dam. But
yeah, you know,
one of the parts that kind of does stink, man. Like one term I was catching him on a shaky head, and the dude in front of me wasn't having any luck. So next thing you know, he totally it was up on the bank. Next thing you know, we're off the bank. He's out there trying to do scope or something like that. So totally took me out of my game because I can't tell him, hey, get back on the bank, especially if he ain't catching no
and
fish.
see, that's the argument that I have about this whole thing is that as me as a boater, if the guy starts catching them on something, then that's just a clue for me,
Yeah.
Because y'all know just as much as anybody else knows that fishing changes day to day. If we find fish doing it this day on practice and they don't do it on the day of the tournament, then you got to make an adjustment. So if a guy's doing something behind me, then I need to adjust to him, At that point, I kind of use it as like a partner thing. Like I know he's fishing for his side of the money, I'm fishing for my side of the money, but
then they turn around and ask us what we're using, and we're like, yeah, it's got purple flake in it.
Yeah. I mean, it was like
that purple they're really eating tonight, I tell you.
Whenever I finished second on Dale Hollow this year, the tournament Gavin won, I was sitting there and me and Gavin were doing the exact same thing, except he was looking at the fish, throwing at him, and I was just dragging mine on the bottom. And one thing that I did was I was like, when I had my fifth one, I said, look, I got plenty of this color. Do you want some to try it on? Because he didn't have any fish, and I had 15 pounds. And I'm like, dude, I'll help you out. But I wasn't going to tell you that until I had my 5 good ones in the boat.
Yeah. Well, I had something like that happen.
Once I get my limit, I'm good to go. Like, okay, yeah. Because I know the limit on the co-owner side, you're going to get paid.
Hey, Misty.
What's up, Misty?
How's the pitchers doing? But
you ask her for pictures. You elaborate. I mean, come on, dude.
They're taking wedding pictures, or what's it called?
Oh, is that Josh's
engagement?
Girl?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, welcome to the Tennessee side. Recently converted Kentucky fan.
But yeah, everybody. When it comes to co-anglers, though, some of them are stubborn. Because I've had a guy on Cherokee, on Douglas last year, and I wasn't catching a lot of big fish.
What's up, Amy?
Amy.
Where's our boy at? Where's Robbie at?
Robbie at? Tell him to get on here.
But all I was saying was I was fishing. We were fishing at Douglas tournament. I wasn't catching many big ones, so I had my limit, and I had my limit pretty early. And I was catching on a brush hog, and this guy was flipping something behind me, and I told him, I was like, dude, they're biting this brush hog, because like I got to the point where I wasn't even like picking the cover apart to try to get him a few fish, but he wouldn't take my brush hogs.
Well, you know why? Because
Why?
everybody's told him throw something different than the boater behind you. Like
Yeah.
all his
Yeah.
buddies was like, don't throw the same thing that boater's doing.
Sometimes you got to do it, though. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to.
Because down there at Center Hill, you were catching fish behind your guy doing the same exact thing. You were
The
just hitting the
exact
spaces
same
that
colors.
he wasn't hitting.
And like, if you're listening to this and you're a co-angler, want to be a co-angler one day, you can do that. You just have to pay attention to what he's doing up in front of you. And if he's flipping this tree, you need to flip the gap between both trees. If you split both those trees, flip that gap.
And that
Yeah,
and
do
that
something
and that's what
different.
that leads into this podcast, is that, dude, if anybody's watching this and y'all have any questions, like anything about being a co-angler, being a boater, just fishing in general, ask it away. Like, that's what we're here for. Reach out to us. It gives us something to talk about. We don't want to be up here with a list of stuff that we want to go through. We want to interact with y'all. This podcast is basically for y'all. It's for us to have a fun time and y'all to laugh and to get information out of us, basically.
Yeah, Dad. Gavin's the only one so far that uses his own boat. Robbie does too.
Robbie
but
does,
yeah,
but he's just not here yet.
Yeah, me and Cal's both co-anglers, so we get the blind draw.
Well, Cal's going to be a boater next year. Cal uses
He
his
says
boat
that.
on the Music City division.
I ain't gonna let him. Just ain't gonna happen.
I think I'm a co-angler. I'm just,
I
who
can't
is
be
that?
I can't be the only co-angler on this. That's Steve. That's my father-in-law.
Oh, is that the one I was talking to earlier?
Yeah. He's over helping me with some cabinets, kitchen remodel.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare.
Are you still bringing your boat over to help me for me to rig your paint off?
Yeah. We're gonna bring it over some point this week.
Okay.
Probably
So let's
take
get
longer
back
than
to-
we need to.
Okay, let's get.
I mean,
All right. What's the question?
Robbie is home.
It's about time.
he ain't home. Let him get in his
Yeah, I know.
building.
He
Hurry
just
up.
now got home. I'm gonna
no
resend him. I'm gonna resend him an invite real quick.
What would you say? What would you say, Dusty, about like what's your biggest fear of a boater?
The jerk, man. The back.
What about like
just
getting like? What about getting in the boat with somebody that don't know how to drive a boat? That would be mine. With it, like
I've never really thought about that.
I've had some
like being
rough
within
rides.
somebody that's like crazy as hell, and then gonna sling you out the boat or something.
Hey, there's been a couple
Hey.
times I went from, hey, I'm gonna catch some fish to, dear Lord, just let me get there.
Like the guy at the regional and the Bass Cat.
Oh my!
Oh man, you know what? Surprisingly, that was a smooth ride, and that the Phoenix driving 80 down the river next to us, about 20 feet from us. Just totally, feel like Days of Thunder. We're driving in and out of fog. I'm telling him to drive through it. He can't hear me. I might as well be doing something.
Oh, look who's
I
here!
made it.
Here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellent.
That is Robbie.
What you doing, Rob?
Hey, not a whole lot. How y'all doing?
Doing
Doing
good.
good.
That's
So
how we made
we
it.
are-
Good talk for you.
So let's backtrack a little bit. Robbie, tell us about yourself a little bit.
Well, I'm Robbie Linkus. I fished boater side in the volunteer division. Currently sitting in 11th position in points. Love bass fishing. That's pretty much me.
So, Rob, we're kind of talking about co-angler draws, pretty much tournament draws. What are you nervous about a co-angler, if anything?
Well, back in the first year we went to Norse, what bothers me with co-anglers sometimes is netting ability. I had a co-angler cost me a win at Norse before I went over there. That's one of the biggest things I worry about is their ability to net fish for me.
What about somebody in the back of the boat catching your fish to win the tournament? for
Well,
you?
I've had I've had the privilege of getting drawed with Cal twice, back-to-back years on chick. The first year he probably cost me a second place finish, and then he cost me a check this past chick tournament. So I'm the type too. I like for my co-anglers to catch fish, but it is a fear of or did I present the bait out there for them to bite, or is my co-angler going to catch the fish? Is he going to cast over my head in front of me? You hear that story quite a bit. But that's something you got to deal with.
So
I mean, I will say thank you, Robbie, for those fish. Those were great. I got paid over here.
You're
let's talk
welcome.
about
You did
this-
get a check.
let's talk about this for a second. How did Matt Becker come back and win AOI too?
Man, the whole time they were talking about how like crazy close it was.
Yeah, but I thought it was between Jacob Wheeler, Ott Defoe, and Alton Jones Jr. I thought that was the three that even had a chance.
There were so many scenarios that they were talking about. I lost track.
I don't know.
But me and Robbie was talking about this earlier. We're pretty sure everybody laid down for KVD besides Matt Becker.
I think
I
so.
don't care about you.
I kind of figured that it would be that they might lay down for Kevin. I was just
because you've seen a lot of people's weights drop today.
Mm-hmm.
A lot.
Yeah.
And they kept blaming it on the wind, but me and Cal's been to Saginaw, and there's places that get out of the wind and can catch better quality fish.
Oh yeah.
And especially where they could trail it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this for a second. What kind of boats do y'all have? I have a PHX 20 Phoenix.
I'm running a Nitro Z9.
I'll run a Bass Cat Saber.
And I'm running the old 10 rig, the old Trapper 195.
I thought somebody else got suspended for that. Wasn't it?
Yeah, who was it? I remember
Shutfield.
Yeah,
But he was
Shutfield.
fishing it. Sheffield was still fishing the tournament this week. Was he just suspended for one day or what?
No, he was. I thought that they suspended him from that tournament.
I thought they did too, but I seen him there.
Yeah, I don't know how that was.
I don't know.
But
So-
they're also saying like the sight fish was what they were talking about.
Yeah, they were catching the same fish, and then in the rules they had it written down as you cannot catch the same fish if you're visually looking at it.
Right.
So you could the way people bend the rules is that they say they weren't looking at it, they would back off and still catch the same fish. Just saying they
You know
weren't
what
looking at it.
in the bed.
Yeah.
And I thought Sheffield did get suspended, but he fished.
So,
let's
Gab-
see. Yeah, he finished 14th.
Gavin, let's say on the rule, let's say you catch the bedfish.
Uh-huh.
You go to the next cove, come back 30 minutes. Can you still not catch that fish?
No, that's what they're saying, that you couldn't visually catch the same fish.
As a co
But what people, and I was listening to a podcast the other day, and what people caught on to is that they were like the people flogging were setting it up. Rob, you heard that. We were listening to that podcast.
Yeah.
They were flogging and be like, this is a 4-pounder on bed, but there's one right beside of it that I think is the same exact weight. He's just not locked on yet. And then like the next day they'd come back and be like, I caught that second one that was about to lock on, but it was actually the same fish.
Right.
There's always going to be, in any competition, there's people going to push the rule
As far as
they can go with it. And whether it, it's right or wrong, they're it's the old saying is it's not breaking the rules till you get caught.
Yeah.
So I tend to think that it's going to happen, no matter what you're doing, fishing, playing golf, bowling. You're going to try your best to
Especially when there's that much,
the rules.
especially when there's that much money on the line. Because hey, people cheat in local derby tournaments trying to win $100.
Yeah.
I mean, they do. And it's, to me, it's all about I enjoy winning when I do win those little derbies and stuff, but I like the competition. I really do. I enjoy that. But
because hey, Dad, where are you?
He's at the neighbor's house.
who?
Faith
Your
told me
daughter.
and said, "Where are you?"
Faith wants to know where you at.
Well, I had an engagement I had to go to this afternoon. It was a spur of the moment thing that come up, and so I got up and slipped out after it was over, and they were still there, so they don't know where
Priorities, I guess. Priorities. That is something else that I didn't realize until today. I seen somebody post about where a guy, like the marshal, was weighing their fish, and it's locked on at like 305, and they said like 310 or something like that. So I don't know. Have y'all seen anything like that with the marshals?
I haven't seen
I
them.
haven't seen anything about that.
Which I don't watch MLF like I do bass. If y'all want the honest truth, I can't stand watching MLF live.
No, they
It
don't
is
show
pretty-
it is the boringest thing you've ever watched.
Yeah.
At least on bass, you get to see them fish all day.
Yeah, that's the thing about MLF is that they talk more than anything. More than anything.
My new rule is if Cal gets drawed with me again, he can't cast. He's got to cast out the back of the boat, back behind the motor.
Robbie's still like,
Cal, he'd still blame you. You can catch a 10 pounder out the back of the boat.
Okay.
Right back. Dude, I was coming back for that one.
So do y'all want to talk a little bit about how we all met? Because
Yeah,
I bet
go
people
ahead.
are wondering why we were here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I'm old enough to be Cal and Gavin's dad.
that's very true. That's very true.
Well, go
I
ahead and
don't
tell us,
even-
Gavin.
I don't even think that what he said that about the MLF is about 2 years from closing the doors if they don't get this stuff straight. I think it's a lot of it that I don't think the fans are going to be there.
Yeah, I think they lose their money.
That they do lose that when you don't get to go to a weigh-in and see the fish.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, I wouldn't want to go watch that just to hear them talk.
Yeah, because people travel all over the world to watch the Bassmaster Elites weigh in.
I mean,
Yeah.
you got to think how many people come to the Bassmaster Classic
Yeah, look at the Bassmaster Classic
in
people
Redford.
that showed up for that compared to the Red's Crest.
True.
But backtrack. Talk about how we met. So me and Cal, I fished in college at King. Cal went to college for wrestling, correct?
Yeah.
He went for the girls.
So me and Cal was in college together. I was fishing on the college team. The partner that I had ended up dropping out. Coach found Cal at wrestling practice one day because he was also the girls wrestling coach. So we found Cal. He found Cal, and then he introduced me and Cal together. The first time that I asked Cal to come out and fish with me because I wanted to fish with him before we went out, fish tournaments, stuff like that. Cal was about 30 minutes late to when we said we were going to meet. An hour late.
Hey, some things never change.
And I'm pretty sure he left his wallet at the house too.
Yeah. I'm sure the wallet was left at home.
Back at the next tourney, right? Dude, this is the last one of the year. I know.
So me and Cal started fishing together, fish college together. We actually ended up both dropping out of college because of our coach situation. Found out he owes us a lot of money, blah, blah, a lot of bull crap. So we decided to fish BFLs. We get our first ones on Chickamauga. And we are sitting there. Cal's nervous as heck trying to figure out who his boater is. I'm nervous about my co-angler. Never done that kind of stuff before. Then we get popped up on the Cal's phone that his co-angler is Robbie Linkus. And then Robbie, you can take it over from when you first ran into me and Cal.
So I'm waiting on my co-angler Link to call, and he calls me and introduces himself, and we start talking about the next day. He said, "Where are you staying at?" I said, "The BP Lodge." He said, "We are staying here too." So I said, "Just come down to my garage. I'm down here in the boat. We'll talk." And you know how boaters are. Sometimes they it's like a hidden secret. We want our links to tell us what their boater is doing and finding out, and everybody tries to keep hush hush about what they're doing. Well, Cal comes down and Gavin's with him, and they come into my garage where they introduce themselves. We talk and we have a pretty good time. And they said, "We're new to this, and you care if we just hang out with you?" And I said, "Sure." So we've kind of been just hanging out ever since then. And
Hey, and I kind of helped you out on that tournament a little bit on what I was doing.
So
yeah,
did
you
Cal.
A
did.
little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that's the reason why Cal caught that fish behind you.
So he
Yeah.
was really helping
little
Cal.
thing.
He really wasn't even helping you.
Well,
Hey, but I told you
had
exactly what I was doing.
I'd been doing research. I drug a Kitech, dragging it on the bottom. I'm not into that. That ain't my style. So I didn't like that. But we went back to my bread and butter at the end. Literally in that. Well, we got to back up a little bit. So the next morning on the tournament, it's like 15 degrees. We're boat number 2, and they give us
and I'm like boat like 100 something.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
there's a restaurant. If y'all been to Dayton, there's a restaurant there. Not anymore, but there was. So I go and eat. And Robbie, and I call Cal, and I'm like, "Hey, where you at?" And he's like, "We're already down there." Well, as soon as I call Cal, the director comes in and goes, "Y'all care if we cancel it today? We're gonna move it to tomorrow. It's just too daggone cold." I called Cal back, and they had to idle. What is that, like a 25-minute idle?
Oh,
Yeah. Good day.
it's easy 25-minute idle back from Dayton to Blue Water, or from Blue Water to Dayton.
Hey,
When I
it's
tell
dark.
you-
It's at least 30.
We were coming back into the wind on the way back into Dayton that morning.
It was terrible. It was terrible.
There was
And
4
luckily, I haven't
boats
even
with
put
us.
the boat in the water yet.
There was 4 of us done out there.
Yeah, we're
But-
out there.
Go ahead.
Oh, we're out here, and Gavin calls me, and I was like, "What do you want now? You just got our phone with me." And he's like, they canceled the tournament. I thought he was messing with me. I did. I was
Didn't you call Robbie? Didn't you call what's his
Oh
name?
yeah,
To make sure
I called the tournament director to find out, and which I got a voicemail, and then he called me back and he said, "Yeah, tournament waters are off limit, so you need to get off the water." And I was like, "I wouldn't have been on the water if we'd canceled it yesterday, like
Hey,
100 and
off
some people
limits. We
asked."
canceled it 5 minutes ago.
we were in the hotel, and right as me and Gavin got the boat in the garage there, we just look outside, and it just starts, a blizzard just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, and then we all end up going out to eat that night.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Bless
so
your
fast
heart.
forward, we didn't talk again until what? Was
Regionals?
it? No, Watts Bar. Watts Bar is
Watts
when we
Bar.
ran into y'all again.
Mhm.
Then we started rooming together at the regional. I
Regional,
guess.
yeah, because JR reached out to me and Cal and asked if we wanted to room at the regionals, and then that's when Boo Boo Dusty up there.
Oh yeah, old Trusty Dusty. Change y'all's lives, you know. Come down there. I said, "Who's this guru?"
So we had a gorgeous, badass cabin at the regionals,
That
It was-
could
And
have
I
been
think
the
that-
best
that's
JR
what we
done a
all-
wonderful job at
Yeah.
the regional.
and I think that's when we all kind of clicked, staying up
Hey,
till 11 o'clock playing pool and stuff like that. That's when we all
You know
kind of
what?
clicked.
JR got the good houses. Rob puts us in an orphanage. He
Orphanage.
said, "Hey, I got this cool house. Driveway's all messed up. It's
Hey.
1 bedroom, but there's 4 beds next to each other
Hey.
upstairs."
It did not show that. Me and Gavin both looked at that house, and we
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
and by the pictures, the parking looked perfect. I didn't know it was going to be one big
Yeah,
room
like
with 5 or 6 beds in it.
So for everybody listening, I'm late getting down there, and Cal's like, "Hey man, we're in all one room. This ain't even a full twin size bed. Cal's a small dude. I'm obviously not. And if the bed's small for him, I'm like, crap. But yeah, we get down there and it's a loft with 4 like munchkin beds up there. I think they took twin size beds and cut them in half.
Well, man, you know, it's possible.
No, but Robbie got the king size bed.
Yeah, he got the
he's
daggone
in
big
there
bed.
spread out. We're in that daggone, you know. We had to go down 2 floors to get to a bathroom.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
Or shower.
Hey, how bad do you have to pee? You know, it's sitting there saying, I ain't got to go that bad yet.
Hell, me and Cal just went off the back porch.
Yeah, but see, I didn't even know about that until like the morning of the tournament. I mean, I seen the porch, but I didn't want to be that redneck dude out there pissing off the porch.
Yeah, I said, I'm going to pee. He said, where are you going? I said, I'm walking out the back door.
Hey, because you wouldn't have made it going down to the bathroom.
But we thought it was a perfect house. Am I not right, Gavin?
The pictures did not do that house justice at all.
No, and it did not. It did.
In
I
the
mean, they
opposite
did
way,
have.
in the opposite
They,
way.
I give them credit. They did have plenty of parking for boats. It was just hard getting your boat in there.
If the driveway didn't have a 10-inch
Big old rut.
rut in it.
Yeah, I think the rain kind of did that one to injustice.
Yeah.
All right, so let's catch up with the comments a little bit. So Michael Knapp says here that if you go to a weigh-in at Bass versus MLF, you'll see a difference, I'm sure. I haven't been to MLF, but I have been to a Bass weigh-in. Timothy says go back to 5 fish on the stage. 5 fish on the stage and it solves the problem catching and weighing the same fish. Yeah, like Michael Knapp says right here, that MLF will never go back to that just because they've already made that thing of where they don't want to use live whales and stuff like that. Me and Robbie was just talking about this the other day. We enjoyed watching the MLF General Tire Team Series where they communicate with each other. Well, not really the team series that we missed. We missed the old MLF before they were when they were still FLW MLF,
the Cup series and stuff.
Yeah. Michael said butters can be jerks. They can as well.
Yeah, they can. They can.
And then Steve wants to know if you still hold tournaments on Cherokee Road.
I do. Every Tuesday night from 6 to 10, we run a little rodeo down there. It's the first year I've ever ran a tournament or put one on, and but we do 6 to 10 on Tuesdays.
Hey, Rob, we was talking about y'all's great performance yesterday. How many fish y'all weigh?
Well.
I remember.
Welcome to Cherokee Lake.
Heck, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellent.
It was tough yesterday. We had the fish on. We didn't have the fish on, I don't think, to win. We might have.
Especially if we knew how big that smallmouth is that you lost.
Yeah.
You notice how he brought up the one you lost?
Well, I mean, that happens. I lost 2 fish yesterday that could have helped us tremendously. It'd been a lot better than what we've done.
And or if we did get those in the boat and we could to actually get the school fired up, because here's another little myth or whatever y'all want to talk about. I heard when I first got into fishing, once you catch a fish and you release it and it's in a school, they send off hormones that shuts them fish off.
Mm-hmm. You know how to fix that?
We've seen it.
Yeah.
Which I've seen it more with spots. I say that spots kiss and tell.
I would say more smallmouth would be more apt to do that versus largemouth. I think that school we found yesterday was probably that big school was probably all largemouth. Probably had some striper mixed in with them. I don't know. I've been in that scenario where you've caught one on a school or 2 and then they just quit. But but then I've been on a school. Me and Dad fished a tournament there one year, and it was every cast. I was catching one, and I told Dad, I said, check a live well. We had like 13 fish in the live well. It was just happening so fast, you know.
What he meant to say was
within
he
10
had
minutes.
10.
I told Dad, I said, we had fish laying in the floor. I said, we got to get some of these fish back in. But, you know,
TWRA done called
I
it
have seen
backlash.
I have seen guys catch schools, get into schools like that, and just waylay them and catch, you know, every cast, and it not bother them.
Somebody said, I bet there was striper mixed in.
Yeah, but Cherokee Lake's got a lot of those in, and they tend to. There's one spot that we fish a lot, cranking, and if we can catch striper, most of the time if we catch a striper, we know that the bass are there and they're going to bite, and we start catching them too. But sometimes you got to weed through them. They do. And some of them stripers that we catch is huge.
Mm-hmm.
I've done lost 2 or 3 crankbaits this year due to that.
See, on our lake, on Watauga, we got those Alabama spots or whatever. Not the Alabama spots, but the Kentucky. Are they Kentucky spots or Alabama? Not the ones we have. They're the invasive. I think they're the Alabama bass.
Alabama bass is the invasive.
Yeah, we got those in Watauga, and they will shut off smallmouth. They'll like run smallmouth off. And they even start acting like smallmouth. Like even on Panoptics, it's hard to tell now if it's a spot or a smallmouth.
My favorite kind of fishing.
But yeah, I also think it depends on the time of the year. Because like in the winter, if you find a school of like 4 or 5, you can almost catch every single one of them. You find a school of 4 to 5. Me and Dusty seen this on Watauga last Saturday, not this recent, but last Saturday. You catch one out of that school of 4 or 5, the other ones won't even look at it.
Yeah, it was one and done.
And I think that, and I think the time of the year kind of makes a difference on that too.
Yeah, and sometimes though, when you like yesterday, when I caught that one, the whole school went down to the bait, and the whole school come up with when I was bringing the fish in. So I think sometimes you pull the whole school in, and then it
screws everything else up.
Yes,
it takes a while for them to get set back up. We've seen that happen a lot, especially.
Mm-hmm.
That's what was happening to me at Watts Bars. I was catching them on that deep spinner bait, and if they wasn't biting it, the whole school would follow it to the boat, and then I had to sit there for 20 minutes and let them sit back up in the brush pile before I could actually fish it again.
I got to do my favorite thing down there at Watts Bar, flip bushes and trees.
I couldn't catch one flipping bushes. I got lucky with that 4-pounder though.
We flipped that two tournaments down there, the Morristown and the BFL, and done pretty good. I finished 11th at Watts Bar in the BFL and finished 22nd in the Morristown.
All right, Cherokee. So Robbie,
sure.
Cherokee's coming up. You don't have to tell us everything because there's probably
tell us what you know.
Tell us what I know. Yeah,
hey, hold on. Let me get some notepads.
Some coordinates.
Hey, me and Cal don't need coordinates. We just need what we throwing on what, and
Well, me and Gavin seen the secret bait yesterday.
Faith wants to know why you stole her AirPods.
Those are not hers. These are mine. Yesterday we seen the secret bait. A guy broke off, and he asked us to go in there and get it, and we did. It was a red and white spook with some kind of creature bait.
It was a
one of them Guggen baits. Magneto bug hooked in the back of the treble hooks, and that spook was standing like straight up and down in the water. So there's you a secret bait to throw. I'm not sure how good that thing walks, but we did see that yesterday.
It runs right to the bottom.
Cherokee, I think Cherokee's going to be tough. Any lake you fish that time of year in September is tough to me. It'll.
Be small.
Yeah, I think the weights will be small.
Hey,
So by
how many smallmouth can you have then?
in
Still two?
September?
Still two?
No,
You have
no,
five?
you just have one.
Yeah.
Oh
more.
yeah.
It don't go back to October 16th. So
No.
one
Everybody's
smallmouth.
mama's gonna be 18.
It is. It's got to be 18 inches, and I mean,
You only have one.
you only have one. Largemouth is going to be the player in that one, big time.
If you can
Unless
find
I mean, you can catch a big keeper, smallmouth. I mean, if you was to get a kicker smallmouth, that would help you bag out. But I don't
I mean,
think
that's
people's
not
going to
that's
target
not
that.
But you can do that where the largemouth are on that lake.
Yeah, you can.
That's what I like
in
about
certain
Cherokee.
areas, they're going to be mixed.
Yeah.
I mean, I flipped Cherokee a lot this year, and I ain't caught nothing flipping on it this year. It just seemed like there's nothing in the trees. Cal comes down, fishes the rodeo I put on, and catches almost a 5-pound smallmouth flipping on a tree. You know,
Get that
496.
co-angler coming out of him.
496.
We know how to fish when nobody else is catching anything. That's what we got to do.
yeah.
But it will. It'll play tough. I think that you'll catch your limit up shallow. Unless these live scope boys get on something and can catch them that way, which there'll be a lot of scopers. I'll be hoping.
Hey, Cal, is that the worst thing you can hear? We're going to go out and live scope? Because it is to me.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, we're gonna go live scope. Crap.
Speaking of people doing some weird things, Dusty, fishing the live scope tournament on Douglas on Watauga, fishing in 76 foot of water. I look back, Dusty's in the back of the boat throwing a DT10.
I was getting
over
down there.
76 foot of water. Okay.
Hey,
this is the first time me and you were fishing a tournament together.
I know you
So
thought I was an idiot till I got
I was like,
boat.
this guy's a dummy.
Yeah.
Son of a gun put two keepers. Well, I actually caught more than just two keepers, but put two keyed keepers in the boat with it.
Hey, funny story on that, right? So we're up at this marina, and Gavin's like, "Hey, dude, I got to poop." I said, "All right." He said, "I'm gonna go up there to this marina," and I'm over there fishing while he's up there at the bathroom, taking forever. I might add. There's two other guys fishing the same little rodeo on the other side of the marina. Gavin gets in the boat after he's done. He's like, "Man, they just missed a fish." Well, we're kind of trolling away from the marina. Well, I throw down next to the dock with that crankbait, get a 3.5-pound smallmouth. I was like, I found him and got him. And the boys are sitting there watching us as we're pulling him in the boat.
So tell the little story about the pre-tournament situation that we were going on with.
Oh, okay. All right. So she's probably watching, so I'm probably going to get in the doghouse a little bit. But we're at 53 minutes. She done turned us off by now. So anyway, so I go to my wife. I'm like, "Hey, I'm going to fish this tournament with Gav." And she's like, "We got stuff to do." I'm like, "Nah, I'm really going to fish this tournament with Gav." And I said, "We're going to win. It's on Watauga." And she said, "How certain are you we going to win?" I said, "I'm certain." She said, "Certain enough you'll sell your boat if you don't?" I said, "You know what? You certain enough I ain't going to win that you won't fuss about another tournament the rest of the year?" And she said, "That's a deal."
So
I
at this time, I don't know this. I don't know this
I ain't
at
told
all.
Gavin nothing. I don't want to make the boy nervous. I got a boat. I just put some electronics on it. I'm like, I ain't selling either way. This is going to be one argument. I'm winning today. But I love you, man. But anyway, so I get there, and the first thing out of Gavin's mouth is, "Man, I ain't caught nothing here in weeks. I got one spot." And I'm like, "Oh, crap." And I said, "Well, you better sit your butt in the boat and go find some dang fish today." And by 10 o'clock, man, we were throwing 2.5 pounders out of the lake.
And speaking of that, I called him. I was like, "Hey, we're going to go scoping." He's like, "All
Yeah.
right." And then I call him back, and I'm like, "Actually, scratch that. I went scoping all day yesterday. Didn't catch crap. We're going bed fishing." And in the morning of the tournament, I'm like, "Hey, Dusty, I think we're going to go scoping."
Hey, I had to change stuff so much. I about had to put new line on. Every time I talk to Gavin, he's like, "Man, we changed our mind. We're going to do something different." That's what we doing.
We
man.
won
gonna
that
go
tournament
get
with 17 pounds, and second place was what, 12?
13.
13. And we
13
could have
or
had a
14.
bigger bag because I lost that 5+ pound.
And we added it up. If we would have fished it individual and caught the same fish, we'd have finished first and second that day. By
And
ourselves.
I fished those same exact spots the day before. Nick.
And Dummy forgets his freaking weight bag. So everybody at the tournament already thinks Gavin's a cheater. So he's like, oh, Gavin's got it. They're up there hanging out the boat waiting on everybody to weigh in.
Literally, a guy comes up to us and be like, y'all just sitting here because you just want me to last one to weigh in. I'm like, no, I ain't got a weigh bag, or I would have already weighed in.
At this point, I'm about ready to empty the tackle bag, fill it up with some water, and put the fish in it just to get them out.
Oh, here's another one. One time I had to get old Dusty right here to bring me a bag to actually the last one we were at Watts Bar.
Yeah, I heard you broke the zipper too. How you?
Hey,
I'm in trouble.
You ain't forget the
I'm in
tackle
trouble.
bag.
Well, guys, it's been great talking to you. Gotta go now.
Hey, yeah, you was talking about line. That first tournament, me and Cal was together. We're sitting back there, and he keeps breaking off. And he's tying these leader knots. And I said, dude, what kind of leader knot are you trying to tie? And he said, he said, I don't know, you wrap it around. I said, the FG knot? He said, yeah, that's the knot.
what's
And he
not
kept
an FG
tying
knot?
on and he just continued to break it off. And I finally tied him one. and then he was so nervous about asking me after he broke that one off. He'd get hung up and break a whole leader off.
So now, for every tournament we go to, it's kind of like a tradition. I look out the day before a tournament. Robbie will be in his boat tying stuff for Cal. I'm his dang cousin, and he ain't tied one FG knot for me. What even offer? And Cal's like, hey, Dad, can I get an FG knot today?
Cal's had some Cal has cashed a check in the back of my boat 2 times that he's fished with me. Correct.
He should be tying your FG knot.
He can't tie leader knots.
I can now.
This year, there is a jackhammer down there at Chickamauga, brand spank new, that never touched the water, that's hanging in a tree somewhere. He broke a rod on the power poles.
So Rob, what you're saying is he cashed a check but left in the hole from all the stuff.
Yeah, he probably went in the hole with all the stuff he lost this year and broke.
Yeah.
$300.
I think
Went home with a $400 bill.
But he forgot his wallet.
Yeah, I bet he forgot his wallet.
All right, let's catch up with the comments a little bit here. Here you go. Have you had any trouble with people following around average fishing holes, adventure fishing holes?
He gets a little crazy sometimes.
Who is y'all's favorite pro anglers to watch?
That's a tough one.
Man, I don't know if I got a favorite.
I don't know if y'all watch YouTube or anything,
No, I'm
but
just kidding.
the cut line. That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah, y'all
we know who Dusty's favorite fisherman is to watch.
You like you
Oh,
got his dang shirt on right now. I got his bait somewhere. Got his rod. Oh,
That's his baby.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say mine's either probably gonna be on them.
Matt.
Oh, Matt. Or I'm gonna say, I don't know really who's a good person to watch on live. Who's a good person? I mean, Gerald Swindle's fun to watch on live.
yeah, I mean he's entertaining. You know,
Gusty's kind of fun to watch on live. Down there at the Classic, he was fun to
I'll
watch.
tell you someone that's fun to watch on live is old Dustin Cornett.
Dustin Connell is fun to watch on MLS Live. Okay. How much time do y'all think you spend on the water fishing? How much so far this year? Well, where I'm a guide, I am out there probably 3 to 4 days a week.
sometimes twice a day.
Sometimes twice a day. I've been out there. This winter, I was out there almost every other day. I was definitely out there every weekend because me and Cal would fish Saturday and Sunday every weekend in the winter. Dusty's barely out there because Whitney won't let him out the house.
I mean,
Whitney don't let Dust out of the house.
I'm a cat dog on the chain, seeing a boat go down. I run to the end of the rope and go.
And Amy's gonna say I'm out there every day, but I fish probably. I do fish 2 tournaments. I fish Tuesday night and Thursday nights,
For
and
sure.
then probably
And Saturday night,
Saturday.
Saturday morning.
I don't fish. Hey, everybody, you boys know I am not a dark time fisherman.
You can barely
I'm too
see in the
old. I
daytime.
can't
Have
see.
in the dark.
Yeah, I have
You
a hard
run a
time seeing in the
nighttime
day.
tournament.
It's only
30
an
minutes.
hour. Most of the time, at max an hour. But most of the time, when it gets dark, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. We stay out there and drag stuff around, but I never catch anything after dark.
Hey, it must have been dark yesterday morning.
It was dark all day yesterday.
I think so.
Yeah, yesterday was tough. For us, they wasn't
Did
for
he
some
give
of
you
them.
half, Rob? Steve wants
think
to know,
I-
did he give you half, Rob?
I think I was talking about
Give me-
Cal's checks.
Oh no,
Oh.
shit! Cal didn't give me half.
I mean, what can I say?
He ought
What can I
to. He ought to give me half of his checks.
No, I basically do when I pay
Well,
for gas.
There
Hey.
you go. He corrected it.
He did. What was funny about this Chickamauga tournament was Cal practiced with me 2 days, and then to get drawed together was just. He didn't even have to take his stuff out of my boat.
that was crazy. That had to be the luckiest son of a guns I've ever seen.
And I still ain't got Drew with nobody I know yet, which is kind of good.
Well, you know everybody. You've got to draw with people that we fish with college.
Yeah. I
Like
don't know.
that we've
I've
we
had-
fished
We've
again.
had a couple boat issues. We've worked through it.
I've had
One of
2
them, I was laying
co-anglers
on the
this
front to
year.
Get it up on plane like a daggone pinup girl.
I've had 2 co-anglers this year that was drawn with me last year already.
I haven't had the same one time. Not one time.
The last one asked me if he said, "Are you the guy I fished with on Cherokee?" And I was like, "I don't think so." And then we got to thinking. I said, "No, I think it was Douglas because we had back to back. We had Douglas and then Cherokee the next day to make up this last year." And he was the one that got drawn with me on Douglas. He said, "Well, because me and my boater on Cherokee got into a big argument." I said, "That wasn't me, dude." I would have remembered that.
Somebody wants to know, Robbie, when you going to take Levi fishing? He said that's the only reason he's with Faith. That's not a very good reason.
I did take Faith and Levi out, and I watched them fish. They both was dragging a little shaky head. They were actually reeling the shaky head instead of dragging it.
That's like that
Both of them ended up catching one off of it. And I think during that day, I think Faith did beat Levi that day in fish catches.
Uh-oh, Faith. Uh-oh.
It's in her blood.
Yeah, it's in her
It's in
blood.
Lincoln's blood. It just kind of slacked off when it came to Robbie. I mean, to Dusty.
That's messed up, man. Messed up.
Hey, Dusty had a great year last year. Coming into it, I needed a co-angler, and he decided that he'd try it.
So was last year your first year?
Yeah. So here's the story on that, right? So
I didn't know
the first
that.
tournament with Cal, whatever. I didn't, I'd always fished the South Holston practices with Rob for like 4 or 5 years. And I'd talk to him about doing it. We needed a co-angler. And I told him, I said, hey, you think I can do it, not go out there and embarrass myself? He's like, dude, you'll be fine. And I said, all right, I'll give it a shot. So then I show up at South Holston, which is the second tournament of the last year, and I about mess around and win the dang thing. But then I was hooked.
Where at?
South Holston.
South Holston.
I had 4 fish for 12-7 after a dead penalty. So I was one fish away, had him on, but he come off right at the boat. Hit right at the boat.
Dang.
I was mad.
Well, start wrapping this up, I guess. It's been a good first little podcast, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I hope everybody
I'm
else on
sorry.
here enjoyed.
Sorry, I was late getting here tonight.
Oh, you're good. You didn't miss
Oh.
anything.
Don't let it happen again, man.
Hey,
I think it worked out
No.
wonderful.
don't make me come up there.
you better
I'll
bring your
call,
boat.
hey, I'll
bring
call
your
your
boat.
mama. Don't make me call your mama.
I'll call your mama.
I'll call Whitney on you.
I'll send it to your house.
Before we get off here, we want to talk about something. With our name, Backlash Boys, we are going to try to do something each podcast, and it's going to be called the Backlash of the Week. And we're going to find, we want bloopers, we want funny fishing videos, funny pictures of things that's happened fishing related. So if y'all have anything that happens throughout the week, send it to us, email it to us, send us on DM, send us comments, anything like that. Pictures or videos that you have, and then we'll all sit down and pick out the one that we think that's the funniest or that we like the best, and y'all will be the Backlash of the Week. Middle or the back?
Oh, Levi ain't got no sense. In the middle would be pretty rough.
Faith has one more question.
I think that was Levi's.
That was Levi's question.
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
it's a good thing I didn't have a GoPro in my boat. We'd have all kinds of funny backlashes with Cal on the back of the boat.
That would be bad.
all right, boys. Here's a good one. This will be up on Facebook, reposted on Facebook, so y'all can go back and rewatch it if you join in late. We will have the podcast uploaded to Spotify and Apple as well. I will send out a post about that, but make sure you go and follow our other social medias. They are Backlash Boys PC is what the name of them are. But go out and check out our other social medias and keep updated with us. Like I said, it's our first one, so I hope everybody enjoyed it. We will be live almost every Sunday at 8 p.m. Y'all have a good one.